I'm sure that there are more than a few of you out there, probably old buggers like me, who can remember a time when you used to drive your car in the evening and the only people you had to be wary of were the odd drunk coming out of the pub too late. Everything else was fine, everything on the road was just doing their own thing. Then some lunatic would come round the corner and plough into either a lamppost or you. Well, times have changed and things have changed. Molly and I have just been up to a place called Jepson's Gate, which is like a little parking spot for about half a dozen cars if you're lucky. And there's a gate there and it leads into the fields and it's a beautiful walk and you get fantastic views over the Lancashire Plain. You're right up high, lots of sheep about, birds and the trees, and it's a wonderful, wonderful spot. So we parked up there, and as we parked up there were two other cars and I knew exactly what was going to happen. The car windows were open. As soon as I opened my door, I was assailed by the smell of weed. Now, I'm no saint and I've been young and we did things, and I've done that in the past, not for many, many years, but we probably did it in the house occasionally, not a lot. But now, I've found that wherever you go in the countryside now, there are 2 or 3 places. There's even a viewing spot which gives you a fantastic view right over towards the Lake District and Wales and the Fylde coast around Southport and Liverpool and Blackpool. And there's a spot there for about 10 cars, and when you go up there, the spots are all full of cars, of people, kids, smoking weed and throwing litter out of the windows. Everywhere you go now, it seems this car culture's different. So in days gone by, when it was only dangerous to drive about at night if you thought you were going to get hit by some drunk driver, now it's during the day. Everywhere you go now, there's kids parked up in laybys smoking weed and taking whatever, I've not a clue, and then getting on the roads and driving about. And this is like 9:30 in the morning. So they're going to be cannoning round in like the back end of the rush hour traffic, stoned out of the minds. Is that a good thing? I mean, I don't think anything's going to change. I think this is kind of just going to get worse, really, right before it gets better. But it's something that isn't drunk driving. There were always campaigns, weren't there? Drunk driving. And the penalties were fairly severe. And then all of a sudden there were a couple of adverts saying like, don't smoke and drive, don't do drugs and don't drug driving and things like that. I've not seen any for quite a while. I've not seen any for years, tell you the truth. And I think, are we going gently on another demographic? Are we going gently on kids being stoned driving the cars? Is it like not politically correct? Have we not got to hurt the feelings of young people who want to get stoned and drive about in the cars like absolute lunatics? The world's going to hell in a handcart, isn't it? It's mental. But I've noticed this probably over the last, since COVID. I think COVID seemed to be a trigger for lots of this kind of behaviour. Well, since COVID, yeah, people are just swarming out in the countryside, and the young kids, and they're all sitting with the seat back, so they have to go like that to drive. All stoned out of the mind. You can tell because, I don't mind the smell of weed. I quite like the smell of weed. Fine, do it if you want, but don't do it and then drive around. Do you honestly think it's not going to impair your reactions and things like that? Of course it is. You're just going to be, when you hit a lamppost, you'll do it with a smile on your face. I suppose that's the upside to it, isn't it? You can hear the birds in the trees. I've just parked the car at the top here at another place. Another little car park. And I'm now kind of hyper-aware. I'm hypersensitive to it. When I got out there were lots of cars parked up. And I could smell weed again. So somebody up there in the car park is parked up and he's smoking weed. Basically I have nothing against that. That's absolutely fine. But do you want to think you can get yourself stoned and then get behind the wheel of a car and start driving it round? Out in the countryside, wherever you go around here, there's kids on horses. You're forever. There's cyclists are out everywhere. You can't get above about 15 mile an hour because of bloody cyclists. Runners are in the road. It's what the countryside is like nowadays. There's lots of people walking, running, cycling, on horses, and people driving around stoned out of the mines at about 60 mile an hour and ploughing into everybody with a smile on the face. It's madness, isn't it? I can also stand in here and I can hear voices. I'm turning into the grumpy old man I never thought I would turn into, because I'm complaining because all you can hear is dogs barking and screeching voices. Listen to that, for feck's sake. There was a time when you used to come into the countryside for peace and quiet, but no more. You come into the countryside, it's full of dobbers in like this sprayed on with their hair dragged back, and half a dozen kids, and they're just killing the time before to go to the pub and push the bloody prams round inside the pub, and the kids are screaming and shouting in the pub and running between the tables, and these dobbers are doing nothing to correct them. Oh, I wish for a time gone by. God, I'm bloody turning into a right grumpy old bugger. But it's true. It's like how people conduct themselves in public now. I mean, there used to be kind of codes of conduct, aren't they? But nowadays, everybody feels so entitled to do exactly what they want, to have what they want, that they will go out and not consider people. You know, we'd go out, and if there were people sitting at a table near to us, or next to us, and we were in the pub, we'd keep it down a bit. You know, we wouldn't, even when we were young lads and we were loud and leery and drunk, we kind of respect other people, but nowadays they don't. And if you kind of just look sideways at them, the next thing you know, you've got some screaming harridan in your face, smelling of woodbines and tikka masala and weed, dressed like a dobber in a tight top, massively overweight because all they eat is fast food and garbage, hair pulled back, too much makeup, screaming and shouting, kids running around like lunatics. I wish they'd keep that bloody dog quiet, yapping away like mad. Apparently the dog's probably just excited it's out in the countryside, so Nigel, you need to be a bit more tolerant. But it is lovely out here today, I must admit. Where's Molly gone? Molly gone. We're missing her. Oh, she's here in front of me. It's overcast. It's an overcast day, but there's still plenty of people out, killing time before they can get stoned and go in the pub, create havoc. Oh God. I'm a happy bloke, really. I just like having a rant every now and again. I think that's good for the soul as well, isn't it? I really do. I think some people, I mean, I'm fairly quiet. In real life, I'm very quiet. And I don't push myself forward. I'm quite reserved. I'm a bit of a wallflower. And I think the dobbers have got the right attitude. The people who drive four-wheel drives and park them up in disabled bays at supermarkets, they've got the right idea. They get it out. They get it out of the system. They just shout and scream, and then they feel all like they've been blown through by warm air, and everything's good, and everything's calm, and everything's people, and everybody around them is like shell-shocked, like you've been in a fight with Mike Tyson, and you're all like that, and they're like blissful and happy, and we'll live till they're 120, and the rest of us will die off at about 70 because we've been beat up so much, because we should have been the ones. So what am I advocating for here now? I'm advocating for you to go out. I've changed my views. Over the last 10 minutes, I've changed my views on life. I advocate that you should go out, park your car up in the middle of the countryside, turn your radio up full blast, smoke a boatload of weed, get absolutely stoned, drive erratically round the roads, ploughing into lampposts and people with a smile on your face, go to the pub with your kids, let them run around like absolute lunatics while you shout and scream about your oldie in Torremolinos, and you'll be happy. And remember, you must park in the disabled bay. Stop anybody else parking there. I've just had an enlightening. I'm enlightened. Follow my lead, people. We are the future. Peace and love.